How's it going, guys? Here with my DPG4. Great gun. So many people are having problems with the bolt stick. Is a pretty common one, but one that I've seen a few videos that nobody's been quite able to figure out is the macro line leak. So I've seen some hokey fixes, electrical tape, people filling their fittings, collar fittings and stuff here with Teflon tape, but I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do that. So the proper fix for this, of course, depressurize your gun. You don't want to do any repairs under pressure. And you pull your little collar in here, and you pull your line out, and that's how you take your macro line out. And you then afterwards pull this collared fitting out, and it'll show just a little piece down in there. But down right inside here is an O-ring, tiny little guy, just like this one here. And if you notice, take it in, zoom in on that, there are a bunch of little slits and detents in this O-ring. So if I expand it out a little bit, you'll see that these are actually cuts inside the O-ring. So when you pressure up your ASA, these little slits expand and cause your fitting to leak here. It's actually leaking right around there. So in order to fix that, go ahead and take apart your line, pull out this collar, use a little tool. I just used my smallest Allen key to kind of reach in there and pull this little guy out. Now my kit didn't come with any replacements to this one, so just went down to a local hardware store and ended up finding a bunch of these little guys. So I went down and I bought quite a few of them, got a few of them in there, and replaced them inside. So with the design of these fittings, now you can go ahead and later on replace these fittings if it ends up giving you too much trouble, which after pulling it apart a few times to clean the gun, I have had a little bit of trouble with leaks and needed to replace these O-rings. My first fix when I was out on the field was I just flipped them over and reused them, but after I cleaned it the two times after that, pulling apart the regulator, it ended up causing the other sides to get damaged. So just the way that these collar design fittings, when they press against those O-rings, they end up actually cutting inside of them. So later on I might replace these fittings, but that will get you through. These O-rings are, let's see how much to pay for them. They were around 35 cents. Yeah, 35 cents an O-ring for these little guys. So local hardware store, buy a couple of them until you can get a more permanent fix for your O-rings. Moving on, bolt stick. A lot of people are having bolt stick issues with their G4. So if you replace the current grease, I replaced it all throughout the gun when I first got it, just because I knew that this was going to be an issue from a friend of mine having one. So I knew it was going to be a problem, so I just pulled it apart, replaced the grease. Haven't had any bolt stick problems since. I replaced it all the way through the regulator. You might not have to go through the regulator in the beginning. Later on, when you first take it apart, maybe go through it. I ended up upgrading to the Tech T bolt here. Tech T. So, which is an amazing upgrade. Only upgrade I've done to this gun since. Great upgrade. But had somebody tell me, just go ahead and use baby oil on yours. I think that's another hokey idea. I would never put or nor recommend any non-paintball grease on your paintball gun. You're just liable to ruin your gun. So thinner greases do tend to work a little bit better for the G4, just because of the bolt design and the way that your regulator works in with it. So definitely use maybe a little bit thinner grease. There's tons of them out there. Many people recommend certain kinds. I just have this. It doesn't even say what kind of grease it is, but it's a little bit thinner. It's not as thick as most of the common greases that are on the market. It's a little bit of a thinner than a gooey style of grease, and that fixed that. That didn't seem to give me any trouble. But I knew right out of the box if I were to take it out a few times after a while, the bolt would just end up sticking. So there's my fixes, guys, and comment below. Let me know what you guys find with your G-force. And yeah, just this little guy right here that ends up causing you to leak all day long.